for real estate people. And it is, I'm not one of these people that, read a book or watched a YouTube video and then regurgitate that info to you and call myself a coach. I actually sold real estate when I was 26 years old. I was the #1 agent in the country. I built a big team. I've sat across the dining room table. I've seen what it's like to follow a script and not have them say what it is that you think that they're supposed to say. And yet, I love how you said that, Dana. The truth is I'm purebred entrepreneur. So while I run one of the largest coaching and training companies in the industry, I had an article written, I think it was, about 2 months ago that came out in Yahoo Finance, another one in I think it was NBC News, where basically the idea was, I'm kind of breaking the mold in a little bit in that I haven't just stayed in the coaching training. I mean, we built a marketing company, we built a CRM company, we built I'm entrepreneur, and it's really what I try to, really teach agents. As agents, you should be entrepreneurs. I mean, if you're in real estate, you better be an entrepreneur, right? If not, then you need to go get a job somewhere, because it's just, there's such opportunity. And yet for a lot of us, we get in for the right reasons and we have all those opportunities, but then we kind of just, we just fall into the same old, and we create another prison around ourselves and another job around ourselves. And, that's not really how I view the industry. I think last year, you were just talking a second ago, Dana, about, October in Nashville, our advance. 2 years ago, or maybe last year, I can't remember, I did a whole thing on various streams. And, I've got like 15 different streams going on of income, because it's how I view the industry. Like the more visibility you create, the more people that you have contact with, the more opportunity you have if you do things right. And so that's where I kind of separate a little bit. I love this industry. I've grown up in this industry. And today we're going to actually talk about, how to get listings, because it's funny, no matter where I'm talking to agents right now through Zoom all over the world, it's the same topic. Like everyone needs listings right now. It's like everywhere in the world is low inventory, low interest rates. Like it's all the same thing everywhere. It's kind of crazy. And, as much as I'm really looking forward to right now, doing live events, because we are right now getting back to live events. Like live events are going off the hook right now. And as much as I'm just about as zoomed out as everybody else, right? Like how many of you are zoomed out? Any of you? It's amazing to me how many people on Zoom right now have their camera off. That's like showing up to a pool party in jeans. But we're zoomed out, right? But at the same time, there are advantages. There are things that I can do today with you guys that I can't do when I'm doing a keynote, in front of 3,000 people or 500 people or, whatever it is, from the perspective that when I talk about something and, we're going to talk about very specific strategies, very specific things you can do to actually be gaining business. When I talk about these kinds of things, the really cool thing is that I can actually show you, I can be like, this is how that works. And I can screen share it. And I'm going to do a lot of screen sharing today. I'm going to show you, like, we have a group on Facebook where you can download some templates, download stuff. Everything I talk about, I'm going to give you for free. And I'm just going to go very step by step in a way that, like I said, you really can't do from a live perspective. Zoom gives you the ability to do the boring stuff that actually, moves the needle for people, right? So just really quickly here on the people that I see here, what is the overall makeup? Are you guys agents? Are you guys brokers? Like how many of you are agents or need to get listings? Like how many of you? Okay, awesome. So that's a good percentage of you. Awesome, good. And I see a hand waved on the thing there. Awesome, good. I'm also gonna do some slides with you guys. I'll make sure you get a copy of these slides too. And then I think we might do a Q&A at the end. I'm not really sure. That's fine. If you guys wanna do that, I'm here for that. We're going to talk about things that are working for people all over the world. I mean, especially all over the country, but I'm a big believer. I say this all the time of marry the principle, date the model. And there are principles that are tried and true. And then there are models and strategies that constantly change. And this is going to be a great example of that. Okay. So you guys ready? You guys ready to get into this? Everybody good? I'll take your silence as a yes. You're all muted. So we'll just, we'll move on. So first off, first thing I want us to realize is when it comes to gaining business or gaining listings, especially, there's really three ways that can happen, right? One is that you wait for it. And a lot of us are masters at this, right? That's the referral only business. That is the, stare at your phone and hope to God that it rings. That kind of way of doing business. One is that you pay for it. And, it always cracks me up when people say things like they don't pay for business. You pay for business one way or the other. You either pay for business through money or you pay for business through time. But either way, you're paying for it. And then the third way is that you just make it happen, right? And that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. Is we're going to talk about different ways to be proactive in actually making, specifically for today's topic, listings happen, okay? And look, I'm going to cover, I'm not even sure yet, 10, 11, 12, we'll see how much time I have, different ways to get listings. But please keep in mind that there's no way you're ever going to leave this and implement 11 different ways to get listings. You need to know your personality. You need to know your marketplace. You need to know, what you're good at, and then pick 2 or 3 things and go all in on those. What you can't do is hear something great, overthink it, and then not do anything. That doesn't help anybody, right? And so you want to be looking at, okay, what are the 2 or 3 things that I need to be doing? I'm a big believer that, our greatest competition in this arena, in this industry, is not the other agent that's on this training. Our greatest competition is us overthinking things, right? It's us not making decisions. It's indecision. It's those kind of things. That's really our greatest competition, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but when you live in your head, you create issues that don't even exist. Would you agree with that statement? When you live in your head, you create issues that don't even exist. And so we don't want to do that, right? So right off the bat, I'm going to show you guys a few different ways that we can do this. I'm a big believer, I say this on every training I do, that visibility trumps ability, okay? And so I want you to remember that. Visibility trumps ability, meaning that the best doesn't always win. It's the one who's the option, right? That's who ultimately wins. And so when you start to look at all the different ways to create business, you need to be looking at, how do I become more visible? How do I make myself an option? Okay. So we know that things matter, like your core 100 and all those kind of things. But one of the first ways that I want to talk about creating business is within your database. Okay. Your database. Now, databases matter. We know that they matter. Most of us don't have one. We have a Google, list of contacts or something like that. But we need to get our database in place. What CRM are you using? What are you using to actually mass email out to people? A database, I did a whole separate training recently just on database for a company, because it's the most effective form of marketing. We all love digital marketing. We all love referrals. We all love all of those things. But the number one form of marketing still to this day is your database. It's email marketing, okay? It's only got a 22% open rate. What other marketing are you doing that has a 22% open rate? Okay. So right off the bat, I'm going to give you guys 3 different emails that you can send right out to your people. And the idea is that with this, you can actually, and don't send these all 3 at a time, like send one week, one in a week and a half, and one 2 weeks later. But here's 3 examples of emails you can send out. I'm going to go over them, and then I'm actually going to give them to you. Again, I'll give you the slides, and then I'll also show you how you can download them right off of my Instagram. I have them on there right now. Okay. So here's one email that you can be sending out to people, right? The subject is going to be, you won't believe this. You got to have some kind of a catchy subject to get open rates. And then it says, hi, first name. You won't believe this, but I've got 2 buyers looking for a home in blank area that are ready, willing, and able to go. But unfortunately, due to the extremely low inventory, we've been unable to find them anything. That's why I'm reaching out to you. Can you do me a favor? If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell their house without it ever even hitting the market. Okay, that's called COVID style language. We're anxiously awaiting your reply. Now, I want you to understand, with all of these techniques we're going to talk about today, these are not like theoretical. These are like thousands of our students all over the world are doing this and getting results. Okay. But it's about actually doing it. You're also going to hear the same kind of verbiage over and over and over again, okay? Because winning in real estate is about saying the right thing to the right people at the right time. That's what it's all about. It's about saying it over and over and over to enough people at the right time, to the right people, right? And so you're going to hear that kind of language where I say things like, if you or anyone you know is even considering selling, Please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your house without it ever even hitting the market. That's COVID style language. People like that right now. Okay. So you're going to hear those kinds of things over and over. I remember right before the pandemic, I was doing a ton of events. I was hitting 4 or 5 cities a week. And one of my friends said to me, they said, don't you ever get like bored of saying similar things or whatever over and over again? Like, it's the 100th time you've delivered this keynote. And I said to my friend, I said, you know what? I don't look at it like that. I said, when I'm talking to an audience, to me, I don't look at it as the 1,000th time I've said it. I look at it as the first time that they've heard it. Okay. Completely different way of looking at it. So when you look at your day-to-day business and the right words you need to be using and who you need to be saying them to, it's not that it's the 57th time you've said, if you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know. I may be able to sell their house without ever even hitting the market. It's that it's the first time that person has heard it. That's all that matters, okay? Let's look at the second email you could be doing, okay? Subject, wow, who knew that Zillow could be so off? Okay, if you want to get high open rates or you want to get a response at all, just throw in the word Zillow, okay? It says, hi, first name, the market's crazy right now, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. In fact, did you know that the former CEO of Zillow sold his home for more than 40% less than his estimate? Who knew that Zillow was so inaccurate? Here's the good news. If you or a friend wants to know the true value of their home or a house they're considering buying, just reply to this email with the address and I'll let you know what it's really worth. I'm standing by ready to go. Okay, that's called being proactive. Let's look at another example here, another email you could use. And again, I'm going to give all these to you. Subject, I'm ready to solve a dilemma you might have, right? And they're thinking, what dilemma is that? Hi, first name. As you may or may not know, we have a serious inventory problem here in blank. More importantly, it may be causing a dilemma for you or someone you know that I'm ready to solve for you. What is that dilemma? You may want to sell, but are unsure that you can find another house worthy of moving into. And guys, I know all of you have people in that situation. For that reason, I've decided to offer my services free of charge to keep an eye out for you and what you might be looking for, which includes notifying you of off-market properties when they are brought to my attention. And by the way, you're going to hear that over and over again, off-market properties, off-market properties, because that's what they want to hear about. I only do this for my top clients. So please reply to this email with your needs ASAP. That's called creating scarcity to reserve your spot atop my list. Okay. See how we did that there? That's called creating scarcity so that and creating a deadline so they get back to you right away. The other thing you'll notice here, I'm going to show this to you guys. Let me pull this up, is those templates you just saw, you can also get those. You can download those directly from my Instagram. I posted those on my Instagram. I think they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows down on the right-hand side. They're all right here. Okay. So if you go to my Instagram at Jared James Today, again, at Jared James Today, I'll post it in the chat for you guys. All 3 of those are right here. Okay. So you can just go and copy them and paste them. They're all right here, okay? So you can go check those out. All right, next up. In fact, you know what I'll do for you guys? Again, beauty of Zoom. I'm going to go into the chat for you, and we will actually, let me put it over here in the chat for you guys. The easiest way to do that, to get over there, I just put the link in the chat. If you just go to connectwithjared.com, there's all the profiles there, social profiles. You'll see Instagram there. You can go down and download that. Again, 100% free. Okay, so check that out. All right, next one I want to show you guys. Next way to get listings, have a compelling call to action, okay? Telling people or putting something up or putting a billboard up or doing whatever it is and putting your phone number on it is not a compelling call to action, okay? You've probably all seen in your area or other areas people who have done similar types of calls to action here, but many of you are not doing them yourself, and yet they work. Some of you have wondered how they even work, right? So the first one you want to create within your business to get more listings is have a guaranteed sale program. What is a guaranteed sale program? Well, generally there's a lot of stipulations, right? So a guaranteed sale program would be something like, it's going to sell within 30 days or I'll buy it, right? This gets you in the door. But when you look at the stipulations on how those things actually work, almost nobody ever actually goes for the guaranteed sale program, okay? Because what happens is that, for example, we work with the #1 agent in the country, okay? And he kills it with the guaranteed sale program. And he gets so many listings, so many opportunities by using it. And yet he told me the other day, he goes, Jared, do you know how many people have ever actually, once I get to their house and I explain the guaranteed sale program and I explain the traditional model, he goes, do you know how many have ever actually used the guaranteed sale program? I said, how many? He goes, 0. Okay. Because he puts stipulations in order for it to be the guaranteed sale where it's going to sell within 30 days or I'll buy it. You have to price it at the price that I want. You have to agree to a price reduction every 7 days to an amount that I'm going to set beforehand. You have to, like, basically, if it didn't sell in the 30 days, he'd want to buy it because it's so underpriced at that point. So by the time he gets there, explains it to them and what it is, they're like, oh, I'd rather go with the traditional model, right? But it gets him in the door. Visibility trumps ability. You've got to have an offer to make. You've got to have something that makes you stand out from the crowd. Let's talk about another one. What about instant offer? You know, a lot of you have heard about these instant offers with, you know, when you look at places like Zillow and these other places doing instant offers, and you're like, how are they, you know, I can't do that. I can't. Here's the funny thing. The reason why a place like Zillow has been dominating, I mean, they dominated Realtor.com, these other, is because they actually made decisions based on what the consumer wanted, not what the agent wanted, right? And so when you look at the consumer, did you know that over 93% of sellers, when polled, said they would like to see an instant offer option? Over 93%. And so my question to you would be, how many of you are offering an instant offer program right now, right? Probably not a lot of you, and yet 93% of sellers want it. But here's the interesting point. Less than 1% of those sellers who actually look at an instant offer program ever actually take advantage of it. That's why companies like Zillow and others are using it to create seller leads, but most sellers don't actually take advantage of it. They then sell those leads back to you. So why don't you have an instant offer program? If you go to your local REIA, R-E-I-A, okay, Real Estate Investors Association, or whatever the one is called in your area, they usually have monthly or quarterly meetings. You need to go to those meetings, create relationships with investors who generally have lines of credit where they offer cash on homes, even though it's not really cash, it's lines of credit. And what happens is that you want to get 5 of them to make a deal with you that when you have a property to make an offer on, they will make an offer within 24 hours. Now you'll have 5 investors that the moment you give them a property, they'll make offers within 24 hours, not going to be full price offers, but they're instant offers. And now you can go out and you can actually say to your marketplace that you do instant offers. And you can go look at these homes, have 5 offers brought to them within 24 hours. Less than 1% of the time they're ever going to accept it. But what did it do? It got you in the door, right? It got you there as an opportunity. And yet 99.8% of the time they go traditional. But you have to be an option first. Visibility trumps ability. You've got to have an offer to make, right? What about the third one here? Now, this is one that is so crucial, and yet almost nobody's doing it. We started doing it with our students recently, and I'll actually show you examples of it. Certified pre-owned homes, right? Certified pre-owned homes are something that are so effective, like literally so effective, and it's another offer to be made. Think about when you go buy a car or something, and you've got whatever, Toyota, or you got, you know, whatever's out there. And, you know, you go buy a used car and they've got their certified pre-owned and it's got a 50-point checklist and it's got all these different things, makes you feel more comfortable about it. How come we don't have that for homes, right? Why aren't we going in and making a deal with a local inspector and having every one of our listings inspected before they're listed? And when we make a deal with a local inspector, we pay them half price because they're doing it at bulk. They're doing it for every one of our listings. Every one of our listings comes with a pre-done inspection. Any major stuff is already taken care of, comes with a 1-year home warranty, comes with all these different things. And now you're able to actually say, we have certified pre-owned homes, which again separates you in your market. And if you want to know what that looks like, this is where I said I would show you guys how this actually works. If you go into Facebook, and you type in, we have a group called Jared James Coaching. It's a group. It's free. You all can join it. There's, I don't know, almost 17,000 members there, agents from all over the world that do nothing but pass referrals, network with each other, help each other, do everything but spam and post their local open houses. if you go into that group and you go into the search right here, right? This little search button right here, and you write in CPO or certified pre-owned or whatever you want to write, you can see threads from people and you can actually see examples of what they're doing for their certified pre-owned, okay? And then what you do is you go on to Fiverr.com. You can see that right there, Fiverr.com, or you go on to Upwork, UPWORK, so Fiverr.com or Upwork.com. And again, I'm gonna put these over here for you guys so you guys have them. Just give me 1 second. I will actually post these in your chat so that you're actually getting, there's a link to our group. But again, our group is also linked in the connectwithjared.com. Here's a link to Fiverr. Here's a link to Upwork. Okay, these Fiverr and Upwork are actually companies where you can deal with independent contractors from all over the world. And what you can do is you can go into our group and you can search certified pre-owned or CPO or, you know, instant offer or whatever it is. And you can see the type of marketing that other agents all over the country are creating and what it looks like. Then you can steal that, put your own branding, your own color, your own logo, whatever, send it over to a graphic designer on Fiverr.com or Upwork.com. And within 24 hours for $5 to $10, you can have your own marketing readily available. So now you can promote in your area that you have certified pre-owned homes, or you can promote in your area that you do instant offer, or whatever it's gonna be, steal it from someone else in our group, go over for $5 to $10, and actually do something that's going to separate you in your marketplace. That's what it's really all about, guys. I don't know how many of you watch, I guess you don't watch, but listen to, I have a podcast called Today with Jared James, and I had on Russell Brunson. And I don't know if you guys know Russell Brunson or not, but he's probably the #1 internet marketer in the world. And when I had him on my podcast, he was talking about his new membership site. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, you already have a membership site. Why are we on here talking about a membership site? So when we get off the call, it's just he and I now talking offline. And I'm like, dude, you already have a membership site. And remember, this is probably the foremost internet marketer in the world. And he says to me, he goes, Jared, rule #1 of marketing, you always have to have a new offer. So he goes, so we slightly changed our membership sites, and now we made a new offer of our new marketing membership site, right? And so what does that mean to you guys as real estate agents? I think that sometimes we think about ourselves so much as salespeople. Actually, not enough of you think of yourselves as salespeople. You're matchmakers and all these other things. But we don't think of ourselves enough as marketers, right? Which is really what allows us to make sales. And so that rule #1 of you've got to have new offers to make, we've got to take that into account, and we got to say, okay, I don't want just one of these. I need to have an instant offer. I need to have a guaranteed sale program. I need to have a certified pre-owned. I need to have a love it or list it. I need to have all these because at different times throughout the year, I'm going to make a new offer, right? Which is going to separate me in the marketplace, right? And that's why you create these. They get you in the door. Visibility trumps ability. And meanwhile, while someone else is just putting out something and saying, here's my number, call me, you're actually following the rules of marketing, making a different offer, separating yourself and getting in front of more people to potentially use your services, which is really what it's all about, okay? Let's talk about the next one here, which is another way that you create new listings, which is to use social posts, okay? Social works for creating listings. And I'm gonna go over a couple different ways that you can do this. I don't know if I have the ability on here. I'm gonna find out in a second. If not, I'm gonna ask them to give it to me. Yep, I do, perfect. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple different ways here, and then I'm gonna actually screen share to my phone and let you guys see exactly how to do some of the stuff that I'm talking about. But let's talk about social posts. There are specific things that you can post that create business, right? Here's some examples. And again, I'm going to give these to you, and I'm going to show you also in our group where you can do this. Let's get real about 2021. After sitting at home for the last year, what are 3 non-negotiables that your next house has to have that your current one doesn't? Okay. Here's another example. I'm doing a little research on a scale of 1 to 10. How likely would you be to sell your current home if I brought you the right buyer at a great price, right? We're just using different examples here. Another one that we put up here. What's one thing your next house will have that your current one doesn't? On a scale, just questions. Now, you have to understand how the Facebook and the Instagram algorithm work in order for these to really be effective for you, okay? Because the way that the algorithm works, simply having people like your statuses does not have the same effect. You need actual words being written, okay? And the more words, the more comments that are coming in on your posts, the more that algorithm starts to go, oh, the relevancy score is going up, and this is going to show up in front of more people. And what's going to happen is, guys, I can't tell you how many people post in our group. They do exactly what I'm talking about now, and then they get hundreds of comments on their status, and then they post in our group a screenshot with 187 comments, and they're like, oh my God, it actually works. And I don't know whether to be offended that they're so surprised, or to be happy for them that they got that many comments. But the point is that once you take advantage of that algorithm and you ask relevant questions that people like to answer, yes, our 90 to 95% of the answer is going to be people who are not serious about selling right now. Yes. But are 5 to 10% of them going to be serious and going to have real questions and going to actually answer? Yes, I on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 10 if I had the right. Yeah. You're going to create 3 to 5 potential seller leads off of doing one post like that. And now think about that. You could take that and do that organically on your Facebook, on your Instagram. You could promote that to your town, right? You can't promote by zip code, but you can still promote to city. And now you're putting it out to people who don't even know you. You can absolutely be doing that, okay? Now, if you want to know, if you want to see what those posts are, let me show you guys this real quick. Again, ton of stuff. If you go into our group, Jared James Coaching, and you go into the search, this right here, if you just type the number 4 and hit enter, somewhere down here, let me find it for you. There is a post where we actually put, here we go. Here are the 4 questions you can post on your social accounts, okay? Now, this is from back in June, so you'd have to adjust them because we're no longer in lockdown in most places. So instead of, saying things about, the quarantine or whatever, you're going to say, like I showed you on that slide, instead of let's get real about the quarantine, you're going to say, let's get real about 2021. After sitting at home for over a year, what are the 3 non-negotiables? So you're going to change that up a little bit. But if you go into our group, hit the search, hit the number 4, you can see this post where you can literally just go in there and copy and paste these things one at a time, once a week, and literally just start creating engagement with people and having people, and it's going to show up to people that normally don't even see your stuff because we're affecting the algorithm and how the algorithm actually works, okay? Let's talk about another way that you could be gaining potential listings through social. And this is one that not nearly enough people take advantage of, which is using polls on Instagram. Polls on Instagram are wildly effective, okay? And a lot of you don't even realize that you can do that. So when you put a poll up on Instagram that says, have you had thoughts about selling your home in the next 12 months? If somebody answers yes to that, that's huge, right? So let me actually, since I know that I now can do this with you guys, I'm gonna actually show you my Instagram, and we'll do it this way, okay? So let me just screen share here, guys. I'm gonna hope this works. If it doesn't work, not the end of the world, I'll just move on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'll let you know in 2 seconds if it works. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, let's see. All right, I think it's working. Yep, you guys can see my, looks like it. Give me a nod. Dana, I can see your head. Give me a nod. You guys can see my Instagram. Awesome. Okay, so this is my Instagram, right? At Jared James Today. So when we talk about doing polls, you see that little plus at the top next to my name, in the middle at the top, little plus. When I hit that plus, it's going to say, do I want to do a post or a story? I'm going to do a story, okay? Now I take these stories, and now I can take this and I can do a picture of me. Let's just for fun, I'm just going to take a picture of this. So as if I was doing this. This isn't how you would do this, by the way. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to hit at the top, that little sticker smiley face at the top. Again, this is not the picture to use for this. And I'm going to go on here. When I hit that little sticker, it's going to give me options. One of the options it's going to give me, 3 down in the middle, is poll, okay? When I hit on poll, I can ask a question. I can say, have you had any thoughts of selling? I can say whatever I want. Now, here's where the real magic is in this, okay? And this is really what I wanted to get across to you guys. When I put a poll up like that, people love to answer polls. When they answer that, I see the responses, okay? So we use this, for example, last year, we have a yearly event called the Jared James Advance. And last year we had to do it virtually. And, I was posting polls saying, been meaning to buy your tickets, but haven't gotten off the fence yet. And people are like, yes or no, whatever. But the people that said yes, which was a lot of people, I could go to my stories, swipe up and see who said yes, give that list to my sales team, and then my sales team would reach out to them with a special offer. And we sold a crap ton of tickets doing that, right? Because we got interest. If you're posting on there, have you had any thoughts of selling? Do you or someone are they thinking of selling? Are they thinking of buying? Are they thinking of whatever it is? Here's the beauty. Not only can you every single day swipe up and see who said yes, right? Because let's face it, you guys don't need 25,000 followers, right? You don't need 700 people to answer your poll. If you get 10 people or 12 people that respond to that poll and one or two of them say, yes, I have had thoughts, or yes, I do know somebody, and you're posting that 4 times a week, you just created 4 to 8 to 10 seller leads every single week that you now need to respond to. And the beauty in stories is that they're not like your news feed. Like, do you all know that person that does nothing but post their listings on their Facebook? They're listing at Nobody Cares Street. And eventually people just, ignore them or block them or, whatever. The beauty of stories is they disappear in 24 hours. So you can post them as many times as you want and you're not going to annoy people, okay? So you should literally be posting a poll once a day, once every other day, and then looking at the results and reaching out to those people. That's ultimately one of the ways that you're going to separate yourself. Does that make sense to everybody? For those of you I can see, can you guys nod your head? Give me a nod of the head. Yes? Awesome. All right, sweet. All right, let's look at another way we can do this. Okay, this is a big one. Your just sold marketing should appeal to new sellers. Okay, I want to make a very important point, okay? And that is, by a show of hands, how many of you, when you have a listing or something, you send out some kind of a postcard or some kind of a letter or, new listing, that kind of a thing, right? What a lot of us are doing right now is we are creating the FSBO market, the FSBO, fastest and shortest business opportunity, for sale by owner. We're creating the FSBO market because our marketing is being sent out and it's going, just sold within 24 hours, 70,000 offers, 200% over asking price. And every seller in that area is looking at that and going, and what do I need you for? Because obviously there was built up demand, right? And we're creating the FSBO market. What you want to do is you want to make sure, because people do look at that marketing. They want to see what their neighbor's property sold for. But we need to use it as a call to action to bring in more sellers. So instead, we're going to say something like this, which gives us a little bit more credit for it, was able to generate enough interest to create multiple offers and negotiate a sales price above asking, okay? Stop saying 47 offers in 24 hours. That is a mistake and you're creating the FSBO market. But this next line is the one that matters. This is called Communication 101. It's not what I say that matters, it's what they hear that matters, right? And here's where my call to action for a seller goes. And I go, did you know that this sale may have changed the value of your home? Contact me right away to see how it may have changed, okay? Did you know that this may have changed the value of yours? Now, I didn't say your value went up. I just said it may have changed, right? But if you're one of those people looking at selling, what did you hear? You heard that your value went up. So I'm going to use that marketing that I know they're going to look at because they care to draw sellers rather than using it to do what most of us are doing now, which is to create the FSBO market. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Next one. The next thing we can be doing to create potential sellers is really with the posts that we use to congratulate our clients, okay? So let me explain to you what I mean. You guys can see this. I'm sure a lot of you do this. You congratulate your buyer, your seller when they purchase a home, when they sell their home, whatever it is. That's awesome. But there's a very specific way to do it so that it'll actually work, okay? What we don't do is we don't just post it, tag them, and say congratulations to them, and that's that, okay? Here's what we need to do, very step by step. Number one, you need to be in the photo. You're in with them taking the picture, okay? Number two, at some point after you congratulate them and say how awesome they were to work with, at some point at the end, you're gonna say something like, them closing, this means that I have one more spot for a seller. Who do you know? Or I've got one more spot for a buyer. Who do you know, right? Because what I'm trying to do here, you ever notice these kind of posts get a lot of attraction? They get hundreds of likes, hundreds of comments. All of their friends and family are going to see it. Your friends and family are going to see it. Like, we need to use this as an attraction model here, right? And again, using the Facebook and Instagram algorithm, there are certain words that trigger the algorithm. And one of those words is congratulations. When people write congratulations, it automatically starts to show it to more people. So if you want more of your posts to get seen by more people, just start writing congrats on your own posts. I'm half kidding, but it does kind of work. So here's what you want to do. And by the way, that's why like baby announcements, engagements, new homes, that's why they get so much traction, is because congratulations is set on them, right? So here's what we're going to do. We need to be in the picture with them. We need to then say, hey, this means that I have one more spot for one more seller. Who do you know? But here's the magic sauce. You do not tag them at the moment that you upload it. Why? Because they are going through the third most stressful time in their life, death, divorce, and moving. When you post this the day of the move, we're hoping they're going to see it and share it, but we don't know if they're going to. They might be too busy. They might miss it. They've got other things going on. So what we're going to do is we are going to wait 3 days. And if they haven't shared it to their people, which is who we want to see this, 3 days later, we then go back to the post and we now tag them, so that it bumps it to the top of their list. They now see it, and now they share it to their people, so that you are showing up in front of hundreds and even thousands of people with them saying nice things about you, and them seeing you say, this means I have room for one more seller or one more buyer. Now you're taking advantage of that engagement, okay? So you can see how it's not enough to just have a congratulations post. You need to actually be specific about it in how you're doing it so that it's working effectively, okay? Next one. Next thing we want to be doing to get listings is sending our client updates on the value of their portfolio, okay? Now that is a big thing, their portfolio. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. So this is both for people going forward and people that you've had in the past. How many of you right now work with some kind of a financial advisor? You've got some kind of money in either a 401k or a 503b, which is more for your kids. But like, how many of you work with a financial advisor in some way? Show of hands. Okay. Awesome. 3 of you. So out of those people that do, don't they give you yearly updates on your portfolio? Like, isn't that their job to do that? Like, and if they're not doing it, they're not doing their job. Okay. What's the number one value in your whole portfolio? It's real estate. What's the number one contributor to wealth? What's the number one contributor to your retirement? What's your number one? It's real estate. So aren't we really in control of the number one part of their portfolio, right? And so what you need to do is from now on, I'm going to give you from now on, and I'm going to give you for going back too. Our job is to stay in front of our clients, right? Visibility trumps ability. There's nothing more annoying than running into a past client in the supermarket and finding out they worked with someone else, or they didn't call you when they bought a home. Is there anything more annoying than that, right? And so what we're going to do is whenever we close a property with someone, we're going to put a reminder in our calendar, in our CRM, in our, whatever, to remind us in 1 year to follow up and give them an updated value of their portfolio, not of their home. Why are we saying portfolio? Because portfolio speaks to multiple homes, okay? So even if they don't have multiple homes yet, especially in a market like right now, we're going to be calling our clients and saying, hey, as part of my ongoing service, I do more than open doors and do that stuff. I really want to help you grow your portfolio. Over the last year, the market's increased by blank percentage. You've got right around $47,000 in equity sitting in your home. I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you were to take about $22,000 of that and put it towards, and you show them an investment property in your area, that's going to net you about $1,200 to $1,300 a month in revenue that I don't know if you were aware you could have done. And now your value is going way beyond, just when you're ready to look at something, let me know. Now you're showing them, here's investment properties that that you could be investing in. Here's what the net cash flow would be. Here's what would you agree that's a different value prop for an agent than just let me show you houses? Okay. Do you know the percentage of the people you work with that want to invest in properties, that want to invest in their portfolio, but they're just too busy? They just never get around to it. So make it, and even if they don't invest in those properties, you're top of mind. Your value is there. They're thinking about you, okay? Every year, update them on their portfolio. Now, let's take this one step further, okay? What if, and I'm gonna show this to you guys, what if instead of just calling them or texting them or emailing them or whatever it's gonna be, what if you took that one step further, okay? And what if you actually went on to something like Google Earth, okay? So if you go to Google and you type in Google Earth, okay? Here's Google Earth. All you do is click on it. It's a free service, okay? Go on to Google Earth and you launch Earth, okay? You launch Earth. It's going to take a second to upload. And then once you do that, you can type in an address, okay? So what if instead you actually went in and you typed in their address, you got an overhead of their property. This is my office building, okay? So here it is. And you went on here and you talked about it and you moved around it. And what you did instead was you did a Google Earth over their property. And you use Zoom or you use BombBomb. And instead of just talking about their property, you actually have a video over their property where you're talking about its value and the stuff that they've done. Look at the new roof you've put on. Look at the whatever. What if you did that? That's going to bring you to a whole different level. But let's take this one step further in a way to actually be getting listings, okay? What if you took that concept and let's forget about for a second your past clients. Let's just look at your database. Do you guys have people in your database that you've never actually sold a house to? You better, right? So we teach our students to do 5 of these a day, to go into their database, pick 5 people a day and do CMAs, do market analysis for 5 people a day using Google Earth. And what you do is you pick those 5 people, okay? And you go on Google Earth and you go in here and you type in, whatever. I'm just going to put in a random address, okay? And so let's just say this is their address. See how it just goes and pulls it up? Boom. There we go. Okay. Now we'll zoom in on that sucker. And when you use Zoom or you use really BombBomb is the one to be using, what's going to happen is when you're over this house right now, your video of you talking is going to be down in the right-hand corner over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to randomly send to 5 people in your database every single day. And you're going to actually, with those people, send them a video and tell them about their property. You want to give them updated value of their home. Here's what's going on in the market. But because you're doing it with a video over their house, do you know how those open rates go through the roof, right? Because when you get a random from somebody, you may or may not open it. But when you use something like BombBomb that allows you to pick which clip in the video to show as the screenshot so that it can show their house and they see it, when they see something like that, do you know how the open rates go through the roof when you see your own home? Think about yourself. If you got a random video from someone you kind of know but not completely, would you open it or not? Maybe, maybe not. If it was a video of them talking, looking over your house, would you open it or not? The stats show us that the high majority of people now open it, okay? We had our students, in fact, one of our coaches, I taught them this concept, doing 5 of these a day. And she told me, I think it was about 2 months ago, she started doing it and she was only 2 weeks in on doing it. And she goes, I've been doing 5 of these a day. And she goes, Jared, I've already listed 3 properties. She goes, I'm going on 2 more listing appointments. All I'm doing is taking 15 minutes a day, shooting 5 of these a day, sending them out. And I've already listed 3 properties over 2 weeks and I'm going on 2 more listing appointments. It's just, remember, what are the ways to make business? One of them is to make it happen, okay? This is an example of how you can do that. You guys want to go one step further on this? You guys ready to go one step further on this? Yes? I didn't lose you? Good. Give me a nod of the head. Yes? All right. So let's go next level on this. Not only are we going to shoot this video and we're going to use the same verbiage we always use. Hey, here's what's going on with your property. Here's what it means. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know. I may be able to sell your property without it ever even hitting the market. Perfect. But here's what we're going to do now. When we use a company like BombBomb and we send those videos out, the beauty is that we're able to see who opens it. Okay. So let's take this one step further. Okay. What if, let me show you these slides again. Okay. So what if we now shoot a new video and we hold up two percentages, right? And in that video, we just hold up two pieces of paper with those percentages written on them. And we send out with a subject that says, find out what these two numbers have to do with the value of your home, okay? And now they're curious. They're like, the value of my home? What does that have to do with anything? What are you talking about? So we send out a video like that, okay? Now we shoot a video. You know what those two different numbers are going to mean? One's going to be the national average that the market's gone up, and one's going to be the local average that the market's gone up. But we're not going to say that until they actually watch the video. We're just going to say, find out what these two numbers have to do with the value of your home. Then we shoot a video on BombBomb or whatever, and we say, hey, here's what's going on nationally. Here's what's going on locally. Here's what it means to you. By the way, there's something really crazy or really cool about your particular area. Give me a call when you get a chance, whatever it is, right? We send that video out to our whole database, okay? Now, here's the beauty of using a company like BombBomb is that we can go and look at 2 days later who opened that video and who watched that video. Does that make sense? This is called not just going, macro, but now we're going to take macro to micro. We're going to send to the whole database, but then we're going to go look at it 2 or 3 days later and say, who watched the video? Okay. That's called going micro now. Now we're going to look at our database and see that 19 people actually watched the video. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to send individual videos to all 19 people. And I'd be like, hey, not sure if you watched my last video or not. Yes, I am. I saw that you opened it. But I'm going to say, not sure if you saw my video or not. But there's something actually really cool about your property or your area that I'd love to discuss with you. When do you have a chance to chat? Okay. That's called going from macro to micro. Send to the whole database, see who actually opens it, then send an individual video to each person. Okay. We did this. One of our students did this, and no joke, he wrote me back, or I think he wrote in the group, and he said, Jared, I literally listed 4 properties in a week by doing that. Okay. That's called making things happen. Okay. Every one of you can do that, but look, strategy, step by step by step by step. Okay. Let's look at a couple more ways, and then I got to come to a close. You guys good for a couple more ways? And we'll go to a close. My number one way to actually be creating listings right now is actually by leveraging your current buyers. Okay. Buyers are the easiest way. For those of you that are upset that you have buyers and you want more sellers, the number one way to create listings right now is buyers. Okay. In order to catch the cheese or to catch the mice, you got to have the cheese, right? If you want sharks to come around, you throw chum in the water. If you want sellers, you got to have buyers, right? So I don't know if you're aware of this, but every time a property is listed in an area, statistically within 30 days, another property comes up. Within 6 months, 2 to 3 more properties come up. So every time you show a house to a buyer, what does that mean about that property? It's listed, right? So we use a thing called a buyer neighborhood letter. And I'm going to show you guys where you guys can get these 2 that I'm about to talk about, where you guys can get these for free, okay? Again, if you go into our group, Jared James Coaching, you go over to this more right here, and you go over to files. If you type in buyer, okay, buyer neighborhood letter and buyer's offer not accepted letter, the 2 that I'm about to talk about, you can download for free here, okay? And here's how this works. When you show a property in a neighborhood, it means that another listing is going to show up in that neighborhood. So we have a letter that we send out to the surrounding neighborhood that basically says, hi, so-and-so, the neighborhood, whatever. I just showed your neighbor's property over at blank to my buyers, Johnny and Sandy, or, you know, blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't the right fit for them, but as I'm sure you're not surprised, they absolutely love the neighborhood. What they're looking for is, and you describe just about every home in that neighborhood, right? If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your home without it ever hitting the market. You see how that works? You send that out every time you show properties. Watch how many listing appointments you generate. What about when your buyers how many of you have made offers on a property that weren't accepted? You got in any kind of multiple bid situations? If not, you're brand new in the industry and you've never worked with a client, because that is like every home right now, right? So we have another letter called buyer's offer not accepted. And rather than waiting for a listing to hit the market, when your buyers make an offer in an area and it's not accepted, what do we know is going to happen in the next 30 days, guys? Listing's going to come up. Wouldn't you rather get there before there's 37 other offers, right? So we use this letter that goes out to the neighborhood, buyer's offer not accepted. And it says, hi, so-and-so, I showed your property to I showed your neighbor's property to my buyers the other day. Unfortunately, due to the low inventory and huge number of offers, their offer wasn't accepted. But what they're looking for is, you describe just about every home in the neighborhood. Can you do me a favor? If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your house without it ever hitting the market. My buyers are ready, willing, and able to go. They just need the right property. I look forward to hearing from you. When you're proactive like that and someone's thinking of selling and they know that you had someone that just made an offer, your phone starts ringing, okay? That's called being proactive. Do you see how that works? Last one I'll cover on that front. And this one you all need to be doing not only in times like now, but you need to be doing it forevermore, okay? And that is this. Every buyer, how many of you have buyers right now? Okay? Every buyer deserves a video to the marketplace. And let me explain to you what I mean. For every single buyer that you're working with, you need to hold up a phone and do a video like this, or look into a camera like I'm doing right now for every single one of them and say, hey, everyone in blank, blank county, blank, blank city, just wanted to let you know I've got 2 buyers looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom, 1 to 2 bath, up to 2,000 square foot in so-and-so school district. But due to the low inventory, they've been unable to find anything yet. Can you do me a favor? If you or anyone you know is even thinking of selling, can you please let me know right away? I may be able to sell your home without it ever hitting the market, okay? You shoot that video and then you promote it. You put it on Facebook, you put it on Instagram, you put it on YouTube. You spend $20 and promote it to your city. Watch how many comments you get with people tagging their mother who's looking of selling. Watch the DMs, the direct messages you get from people going, you know, what are they looking for? What's their price range? What's their whatever? Use them as bait to pull sellers out. Don't you guys, when you have a listing, don't you have a budget for that listing? Don't you market that listing? Why would you not be marketing buyers? That's really the question, okay? And last but not least, because I have to close, and I've got so many others I could cover, but I have to close. Here's the last way I'll cover to be able to get listings, okay? I think we all know that right now, expireds are not really where it's at for listings. If a property expires right now, it's either haunted or there's something wrong with it. Like, you know, it's just properties are selling is what I'm saying, right? But here's the expireds that do work, that everyone's forgotten about. When you look at why a property expires, can we all agree it's usually price, right? Like, I think they tell you it's because you didn't put it in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, but a property doesn't sell because of price. Can we all just agree on that, right? And what you want to do is you want to go look up in your MLS every property in the last 2 to 5 years that expired and never relisted and sold. You guys follow? 2 to 5 years that expired and never relisted or sold. Chances are they still want to sell, but they couldn't get the price back then. What's happened to the market in the last 2 to 5 years, guys? Okay. Prices have gone up. And a lot of these people can now sell and they don't even realize that they can. So we have a campaign called Still Want to Sell. And if you go into our group and you go to the files, the templates, you'll see the Still Want to Sell campaign. Look up every property that expired in the last 2 to 5 years, but didn't relist or resell. Send them that letter. And it basically says to them, hey, I noticed that you weren't able to sell. There's a lot of reasons why that happens. But a lot of people don't realize they still could. If you're still looking to sell, blah, 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 and it has all this different verbiage in there to make them contact you, okay? Now, it's going to be a small list of people, but the percentage of people that reply is astronomical. One of our students just did this exact thing. And in his whole marketplace, there was only 27 properties that expired and didn't relist or sell in the last 2 to 5 years. He sent out this letter to those 27 properties. He listed 9 of them, like 1/3 of them. They didn't realize they could still sell, okay? And that's called going after a part of the market that most people aren't going after. You know, they're so focused on other things, they're not even thinking about that market, okay? So there's another part of the market you can go to. Bottom line is, guys, I got to close. I'll answer some questions if you want. I don't know if you guys have to get into something else, but I'll do Q&A if you want. The bottom line is that there's amazing opportunity right now. It's just but it's not for everyone. It's for those that are going to be a little bit different, that are going to implement different strategies, that are going to think outside the box, and quite honestly, who are going to deserve to win. That's what it really comes down to. They deserve to win because they're employing marketing techniques and strategies that are outside of what everyone else is doing. And if you want to have a level of success that is outside of where everybody else is, bottom line is you've got to do things differently, okay? I'll put something in the bottom here. And then, guys, if you guys have questions, I'll do it. If you guys want free training on some of this stuff, just send an email. I just put the email in the chat. Just send an email to yes@jaredjamestoday.com. I highly recommend if you guys want to connect, you want to ask questions later on, you want to whatever, just go to connectwithjared.com. You guys can always DM me, direct message me on Instagram or Facebook or any of these places. I do different content on every platform, so it's good to be following on all of them. With that being said, guys, those slides also that you saw that I was going through, they're in our group, that Jared James coaching group. If you go to the files, I think it's called How to Get Listings slides. So you guys can download those as well. With that being said, thanks for having me. Any questions, or do you guys have to move on to something else?
We probably have a few minutes if anybody has questions. I just want to say thank you. You know, there were some things that, you know, we are doing in the marketplace, but some different perspectives on it. So that was super helpful. And the different approaches.
All implementation, guys. Like it always cracks me up when you talk about a certain technique or something and everybody gets worried that other people from their marketplace are also on the training. And I'm always like, don't worry, because, you know, most people hear something, they're like, that's a great idea, that's whatever. And they do absolutely nothing with it. Like the only way that you ever grow is you go from this, which is the learn stage, which is awesome. We love to learn. It's, you know, whatever. But you ultimately have to move to the screw up stage, you know, and that's where you actually start trying out the stuff that you're learning and you screw up and you either look at it and go, oh, I knew that wouldn't work, and you move on, or you figure out how to make it work and you're better for it. Right. And those are the two types of people that'll be watching this. Any questions, guys?
Questions, comments, thank yous. Otherwise, I know your time is precious. I don't see anything.
Do you have sample videos? Yes. All that kind of stuff, guys, like sample videos and those kind of things, like just go into our group. It's all there. So rather than me putting together a thing and sending it out to you, all that stuff's in our group. So just go to the Jared James coaching group on Facebook. You can see all that stuff. You can ask questions. Any specific questions, like I said, you guys can send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, any one of these places. I do reply to them. Unless you ask a question like, what hours is your office open? Then you'll probably get one of my peeps, but real questions, I will answer. So looking forward to Nashville. Adam, looking forward to having you, man. That's going to be great. I'm seeing all the thank yous, guys. So I'm going to assume there's no questions. If you guys have them, I'll check my Instagram in a little bit. I got to jump on another thing here, but love being with you guys. Can't wait to do more in person now with the world opening up. Thank God. It's been a fun year, but I appreciate you guys bringing me in, and I appreciate you guys trusting me in front of your membership. So I do appreciate that, guys, but I look forward to seeing you all in person, and hopefully I'll see a bunch of you in Nashville in October. That's going to be awesome. So
Thanks, Jared. Have a good
Thank
rest
you,
of
Dana. Yeah. I'll see you guys.